Good morning, and thank you for all attending this event, whether you're here in person or tuning in online. Traffic safety is a top priority for Henrico County. Many agencies and departments within the county are continuously looking for the best way to raise awareness and address ongoing safety issues throughout Henrico. Many of these efforts wouldn't be possible without the support of our community partners, such as GRTC and sports backers, along with our Board of Supervisors, who are in attendance today as well. Over the last several months, Henrico Police, in collaboration with Henrico County government, worked to revamp the former Watch Your Step campaign to ensure there was a public safety awareness for all methods of travel on the county roads, by foot, bicycle, or in a motor vehicle. Today, we're excited to roll out our new traffic safety campaign, Watch Out Ahead Henrico, or better known as WOAH. To share more on why this campaign is so important, here's Lieutenant Rob Netherland with Henrico Police.
Good morning. Again, on behalf of Chief English, his command staff, and all the men and women for Henrico Police, thank you for coming out. I can probably speak on behalf as well for all of our local law enforcement partners in the Central Virginia area, as well as around the state, to include around the nation, because this problem that we have is not just a Henrico problem, it is clearly a national problem. So I'll give you a couple numbers, but I don't want to inundate you with too many of those, but just to give you an idea, just on pedestrians alone. So in 2022, we had 8 pedestrians that were killed and 1 cyclist. And then so far, year to date, here in 2023, we've already had 9 pedestrians that have actually been killed by motor vehicles, as well as we just had one just last night. I mean, luckily it was not a fatality, but we don't know the outcome of that one yet. So the campaign is very simple. We could probably sum it up also in 2 words, and this is called pay attention. I don't know how simple we can get with this. It doesn't matter what mode of transportation you use, we need you to pay attention when you're using our roadways. We can tie it into our big 3, as what we refer to it as, so you need to pay attention when you're driving so that you're not speeding. You pay attention to your speedometer. You need to pay attention that everybody in your vehicle is buckled up and they have their seat belt on. You need to pay attention to whether or not you're impaired. That should be a no-brainer, but yet we still deal with it day in and day out, whether you're under the influence of drugs and or alcohol. Then we get to the one that's probably the most prevalent that most people see, and that's driver distraction. Probably the biggest thing we see out here is the cell phones and people just not paying attention. And when I say they're just being distracted, it's not just distracted driving. We also have people that have earbuds in that are out walking, running, cyclists doing the same thing. The bottom line is we all use the same roadway, and we got to make sure that we're paying attention. The state defined our pedestrians and our bicyclists out on the roadway as vulnerable users, and there's a reason for that, because of the protection that they don't have around them, much like a vehicle does. So we just need people to pay attention. It's not that hard. You see the map that's to my right, your left? That map is a heat map that shows the areas where our pedestrians and our cyclists are being struck the most. And obviously, you kind of see them in certain areas, and they all have common themes. And probably one of the most common themes we see when we're dealing with, unfortunately, pedestrians that are being struck, it's unlike what you see hanging on this podium. They're not wearing high-colored reflective gear at night. They're all wearing dark-colored clothing. They're crossing not at an intersection. So it's these things that we just need to try to send the message for our pedestrians to be reflective, be seen. Same thing with our cyclists. They do a pretty good job of it. A lot of them have lights on their bicycles, as well as if they're riding at night, lights on their bicycles to be seen at night. So more visible are, you would think, the more you should be able to be seen. To our motorists in our vehicles, goes back to our pay attention part of this. You got to be scanning at all times. There are way too many distractions going on in a vehicle, and we need you to basically be paying attention. It's ironic we're doing this kickoff campaign today. Today is probably one of the busiest travel holidays, if you will, that we have throughout the year, because people are going to see family and friends, and they're traveling today. As we speak right now, 95 is backed up, I can tell you, because I was caught in it to get here. So again, pay attention, slow down, Just be cognizant of everything that's going around you, and that's all we ask for. If you just use that, use simple common sense, then you're not going to have to worry about the police coming to deal with you. So on behalf, I'm going to turn it over to some young ladies here that have more of a story to tell than what I can pass on to you. So I'm going to turn it over to them.
Good morning. My name is Cheyanne Williams. I lost my father September the 11th, 2 months ago. His name is Alonzo Williams. He got struck by a vehicle. I'm trying to pull it together. This is really a tough time now because this is my first holiday without my father, and it's really tough on my family. So I just think whoever or whatever happened, should be told. We still don't have, answers right now, but we're leaning on each other. We just ask everyone to be careful, to pay attention, to, I'm sorry guys, to be aware, wear the vest, or just take the time to be cautious of someone. If you see someone, let them cross. It's just a second to be cautious and save a life. I'm going to wrap it up, and I just want to tell everyone to have a good holiday. And again, love on your family, because things can change in a matter of a second. You don't know if you can change someone's life or end it. So that's all.
Good morning. I'm grateful to be here today to share with you about why traffic safety matters. My name is Natalie Rainer, and I'm the survivor of a car-on-bicycle crash that nearly took my life. On the morning of Saturday, August 13th, 2022, I set out to live every minute of my day to the fullest. My friend Jonah and I planned a long bicycle ride on the Virginia Capitol Trail, through Fort Harrison Battlefield Park in eastern Henrico, and back into the city to a yoga class at Sankofa Community Orchard. It was a beautiful morning, warm and clear skies, the perfect day for a bike ride. Jonah and I met at the VMFA and watched the sunrise together. I could never have predicted that in just half an hour, our lives would change forever. Several days later, I woke up in the intensive care unit at VCU Health. My first conscious moments were full of panic and confusion. I was intubated with a breathing tube strapped to my face and inserted down my throat, obstructing my ability to speak. There were IVs inserted into both sides of my neck, and my wrists were restrained to the bed to prevent me from mistakenly damaging my life support systems. My pain was immense, even through massive doses of fentanyl and lidocaine. But I recognized my family in the room. They explained to me that we had been hit by a drunk driver on Osborne Turnpike around 7:30 a.m., and that Jonah had been killed in the crash. I promised her then that I would live the rest of my life making her proud and using my voice to spread positivity, upholding her legacy of compassion and service to our community. I spent almost a month in the trauma center at VCU, recovering from a laundry list of injuries and 4 major surgeries to save my life and reconstruct my pelvis and collarbone. After discharge, I spent a month in skilled nursing and then 6 months in outpatient PT, relearning how to walk. Now, 16 months later, I am blessed to be recovering so well, thanks to my healthcare team, the endless support of my community, and a personal attitude of stubborn determination to rise again. And while every day I continue to suffer pain, scarring, and emotional trauma from my injuries, I am the lucky one because I get to live out the rest of my life. This crash tore a deep wound in our community and changed my life forever. Jonah was deeply loved and respected by many, many people, and her absence will forever leave a void in our hearts. What happened to us that morning was unpredictable, but it was preventable. The driver who hit us was only 18 years old. He was a good student from a loving family Entering his senior year at an illustrious private high school, he had everything he needed and a bright future ahead of him. But all of that changed in the blink of an eye. He was sentenced to 10 years in prison and 5 years of probation. His driver's license has been permanently revoked and the course of his life forever altered. I shared this with you because I believe my story can make a positive impact and inspire other people to make good choices. My hope is that sharing the rawness and the impact of my crash will help prevent it from happening to someone else. Traffic violence changes lives. It robs our neighborhoods of peace and sanctity. It creates unnecessary chaos and harm in our community. But it is preventable. Until we take collective and individual action to curb reckless and distracted driving, more people will lose their lives. More people will experience life-altering injuries and trauma. I believe that together we can make positive change, but it's going to take all of us. Each and every one of us has a role to play in keeping our community safe. The way towards a brighter, safer future starts with the individual choices that we make as we move around in the world. If we want to live in peace and harmony, then we need to manifest it in the ways that we treat each other. Reckless and distracted driving is harmful to everyone. The cars and bicycles we see out on the roads are not just vehicles, they are carrying people. And so we should interact with them in ways that show we care about their lives too. To make this world and this community a better place for all people, we need to make choices with the well-being of our fellow humans in the forefront of our minds. We need to watch out for each other. This is the way towards a safer, more sustainable, and more equitable future. I hope you will join us in making this vision of the future a reality. Thank you.
Yeah. Thank you both for sharing the story. For those that don't know, I'm Terrell Hughes. I'm the Director of Public Works here at the county, and really, I want to call them stories. What happened and what you both have experienced, really that's why we're here. I think on behalf of a lot of our staff. So I'm here. I will update you on how the county is working to address both bike and pedestrian safety through our infrastructure projects. One of the key factors in the rise of pedestrian and bike crashes in the county has been the lack of safe infrastructure for pedestrians and cyclists as well. However, the county has been very active in addressing this. We currently have over 120 active transportation projects. The actual number of how many projects we have is hard to keep track of with how many projects we have going on. Our rate of projects has been elevated by funding from the Central Virginia Transportation Authority, or CVTA, which Henrico County is actually the largest contributor. We also have a substantial investment from our Board of Supervisors of local funds, specifically for sidewalk improvements. We also go after state funding, such as Smart Scale, and other regional opportunities for funding. So this is how we fund our projects. Of that list of projects that I mentioned, over 2/3 of our transportation projects are solely focused on adding sidewalks. Most of the others include them. In partnership with VDOT, future sidewalk and pedestrian improvements are not just planned, but funded on key roadways such as West Broad Street, Staples Mill, Williamsburg Road, Laburnum, Parham, and Patterson. And I mention these roadways specifically because these roadways aren't just the roadways that have the most vehicular traffic, they are also the roadways that have the most pedestrian activity as well, especially with transit service that's provided along these roadways. So we've been working with GRTC on a number of these locations and projects, and all of these projects include transit accommodations as well. Beyond the sidewalk projects, we've been active in enhancing pedestrian safety with crosswalk enhancements across the county. Our traffic engineering team has been very active in enhancing crosswalks with high visibility crosswalks, for example, and our flashing beacons at crossing locations. And we've also been slowing down traffic in the county. Over the past few years alone, we've lowered the speed limit on over 100 roadways, with speed being a major factor in pedestrian and bicycle crashes. For those that don't know, once roadway speeds have been lowered, it actually improves the visibility of pedestrians and cyclists along the roadway, as well as improves the outcome of crashes. Speed definitely has an impact on that. It's a proven safety countermeasure. So we encourage those to abide by those speed limits. On residential streets, we've also been slowing down traffic with our traffic calming program, and we've expanded the program to include pedestrian activity as one of the reasons why we would install speed bumps, or some of the new treatments that we've been using, such as the neighborhood roundabouts. You may have seen some of those. That's been a new tool that has been proven to slow down traffic in neighborhoods. On the bike infrastructure side, the county has developed its first ever bike plan, which is currently in draft form and will be adopted with the next comprehensive plan. However, we aren't waiting for adoption. We've already added over 14 miles of bike lanes this year alone, and we actually plan to do about the same, if not more, next year. We also have major trail projects underway, such as our Fall Line Trail, and a number of spur trails are also in the works to connect to both the Fall Line Trail and the Virginia Capitol Trail, and a number of other trail projects that are also in the works. So these efforts show the county's strong commitment in improving pedestrian and bicycle safety across the county. With that, that's up to you to close this out.
Thank you. And thank you all for coming. I would like to point out the vest here that we have for the WOAH campaign is one of the ways that we're spreading awareness and making the public more visible. These are available in each of our 3 police stations, as well as community events that we'll be having throughout the year. For anyone that is walking or riding a bicycle in Henrico County and would like one, please stop by and pick one up.